Greetings, welcome to Facts About Everything. I'm your host, James Egan, and today on Book Week we'll be looking at the Iliad, which was written by Homer in 750 BC. Before I start, I'd like to summarize the entire story in one sentence, which is, the Trojans declare a 10-year war on the Greeks to rescue their queen, Helen of Troy. The Trojan War began when Helen of Troy either fled or was abducted by a Greek called Paris. Helen's husband, Menelaus, was enraged and declared war on the Greeks. The story begins at the end of the Trojan War that has been raging on for 10 years. The Greeks are laying siege to the Trojans. A Trojan priest called Chryses offers the Greek leader Agamemnon money if they return his daughter Chryseis, but he is turned down. Chryses prays to the god of plague, Apollo, for help. Apollo sends a plague upon the Greeks, decimating their numbers. Agamemnon frees Chryseis and the plague ends. Because of Agamemnon's poor leadership skills, the commander of the Greek army, Achilles, refuses to fight. He and his men, the Myrmidons, return home. Achilles asks his mother, Thetis, to pray to Zeus to show that Agamemnon needs him to win the war. Zeus makes Agamemnon dream of his army attacking the Trojans. Agamemnon awakes and checks if his remaining army still support him. He asks them to go home, assuming they will stay out of loyalty. This reverse psychology backfires and they prepare to leave until a soldier called Odysseus encourages the men to stay. Agamemnon's army make their way to the Trojan territory. The Trojan king, Priam, realizes that the Greeks are coming and he readies his soldiers. Before they engage in an all-out war, Paris decides to have a one-on-one battle with Helen's husband, Menelaus. Menelaus effortlessly beats Paris in combat, but Aphrodite, the goddess of love, rescues him before Menelaus can kill him. Paris' brother Hector leads the Trojans and they dominate the Greeks. The gods try to influence the battle without getting directly involved. Eventually, Zeus bars the gods from any interference whatsoever. Agamemnon realizes he will lose and sends men to Achilles, who is staying at a nearby camp. The men beg him to return, but he says no. The next day, Achilles sends his friend Patroclus to learn of the war's casualties. Patroclus sees the devastation of the Greeks and rallies Achilles to enter the battle. Achilles protests but allows Patroclus to borrow his armor and his men, but warns him not to directly attack the Trojans. Patroclus does not listen and is killed by Hector. Achilles vows revenge against Hector. His mother is afraid because there's a prophecy that if Achilles kills Hector, he will die shortly after. Hector has stolen Achilles' armor, and so the god of metal, Hephaestus, gives him new armor and a shield. Achilles drives his chariot into battle instead of his horse, Xanthos, warning Achilles that he will die if he fights. Zeus goes back on his word and allows the gods to interfere in the war. Achilles kills many people and eventually slays Hector. He attaches Hector's body to his chariot and drags his corpse around as punishment for killing Patroclus. Hector's father, King Priam, infiltrates the Greek camp and implores Achilles to give his son back so he can bury him. Achilles is moved to tears and agrees. Priam retrieves Hector and buries him. If you want to know more, don't worry, tomorrow I'll be looking at the sequel, The Odyssey. Also, you might be wondering, wait a minute, you didn't mention the Trojan horse. The Trojan horse isn't actually mentioned in the story, it's only briefly mentioned in the sequel, The Odyssey. It's only talked about in detail in the third book, The Aeneid by Virgil. Special thanks to these fine people for all their help. Be sure to subscribe to Facts About Everything. Follow me on Twitter for updates on upcoming videos. Check out my Facebook page to let me know what subjects you want me to talk about in the future. Thanks for watching. See you again.